What's up guys, this is my first ever proper video on this channel and it's an exciting one for me. I really enjoy planning it. I'm really looking forward to letting you listen to some of my opinions and some of our best childhood moments in my life. This is going to be my top 10 favourite games of all time. These games aren't necessarily the best graphically or gameplay aspects. It's just from my childhood, these are the best games I've ever played. I've got really fond memories of playing them, with my friends or my family or anything like that. So I wouldn't base this on, oh, it's got great gameplay or it's got great graphics. It's just based on, this is what I really enjoyed and I enjoyed every minute of playing it. So getting into the first game on this list, number 10 is Quantum of Solace. The game was released on October 31st, 2008 and was obviously based on the actual film. It is one of the very few good games based on films. I mean, there's so many games that are based on films nowadays that are just absolutely terrible. There's countless numbers of games. The reason I enjoyed it so much was the multiplayer was absolutely fantastic. It was literally the first game I ever got on Xbox 360, hence my embarrassing gamer tag, MI5 Ben C. The story was obviously engaging because it was based on the film. I love the film, absolutely love all the James Bond 007 films, can't get enough of them, so the game really lived up to its expectations. And one of me and my best friends, Connor Charlesworth, we achievement hunted on that game really badly. Like, the achievements were insane on it though. You had to do ridiculous things to get all the achievements, and he actually managed to get every single achievement in the game, so props to him. But he must have wasted days upon days playing that game, but man, it was worth it. At number 9 on our list, it's Oblivion. It was released on March 2006, which is just crazy to think how long ago that was. What was not to love about Oblivion, I mean, there were so many quests in it, so many things to do. The quests were really engaging as well, like the Dark Brotherhood, everything like that. I just loved every minute of it. Believe it or not, I was one achievement away from fully completing all the achievements in the game, which is quite sad really, but I love the game so much. I remember the achievement was based on a decision you had to make. You could either make one decision to do one thing or one decision to do another thing. And I didn't know there were 2 achievements based on that decision, so obviously I didn't make a save before that decision, and I only realised later on. I was like, oh, I'm 1 achievement off, I wonder what achievement it is. Went to check, and it's the achievement for not choosing what I chose. And I mean, I love the game, but I'm not going to play all the way through that again. I mean, the amount of effort I had to do to get to that point was insane, so I did love the game, but I didn't love it that much. I mean, I had so many great memories with that game, leveling up, getting your characters just be like inhumanly powerful in the game. It was just ridiculous, and who couldn't enjoy shooting the adoring fan off Dive Rock? I mean, that must have been the highlight of that game. When I found out you could do that, oh god, I was a sad kid. And on that note, we're going to move into number 8, which is Mafia 2. The game was released on December 2011, and I remember the story for that game just being absolutely incredible. It was literally like you were playing a film. It was just unbelievable how good the storyline was. The map was just amazing looking, in the golden era of America, and you could just look around and see all the retro vintage cars. It was just incredible. And I don't know if I want to admit this, but the ending to that game, I'm not going to spoil it because it is a fantastic game. I do recommend you go and play it, but the end to that game literally made me cry. Like, I just burst into tears at that game. It was just, oh, I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. It was just, oh, it was unbelievable what happened at the end, but great game, and yeah, I've loved every second of it. And I thought this game would be higher on my list, but it's number 7 and it's RuneScape. It was released on January 2011, but I don't think I started playing it till I was in about year 5, year 6, so I was probably about 10, 11, 12, something around, probably them 3 years really, I first started playing it. I mean, if they tracked the amount of hours I must have racked up on that game, it'd be days. It would literally be days, like weeks, maybe months. Honestly, I spent so much time on that game. It was actually sad thinking about it now, but oh, it was so worth it. I do have a lot of embarrassing stories from that game. I mean, the possibilities were just absolutely endless. There was so much you could do in that game, and I think I made a few bad decisions that I regret for the rest of my life. A couple of them being getting married in the game to try and scam someone, which is a bit of a low point, and I genuinely fell out with one of my best friends because I hacked into his account because he annoyed me, and me and my friend hacked into his account and dropped all his stuff in the wilderness. So yeah, that was a bit of a regret of mine, but at the time it was like the best idea we had, and yeah, he didn't talk to me for a full year, all the way through year 6, so if you're watching, Curtis, I don't know if you've forgiven me yet, but I am truly sorry. And finally, it was just my first introduction to grinding, you know, days upon days of mining, cutting down trees, you know. Bit sad now, it wasn't really worth it thinking about them now, but back then it was just like, that's all I could think about was just getting home from school and just getting straight on my computer and getting on RuneScape with all my friends, and honestly I just loved it. Number 6 on this list is going to be Hogs of War. It was released in June 2000, and I can understand a lot of you might not know this game because it wasn't the most popular, but to me and my friend Connor, who also played Quantum of Solace, I mentioned earlier, it was just, oh, it was such a fun game. It was released on PS1, and that's what me and my friend Connor played it on. So, you know, you can imagine there's a lot of nostalgia behind the game. I can just remember the voice acting being absolutely hilarious in that game. Like, we'd honestly just be laughing our heads off at some of the things the Hogs used to come out with. It was just, oh, it was just absolutely mind-blowing how funny it was. We just used to have so many two-player battles, and you know, the maps were just huge. And I mean, on PS1 it was such an impressive thing to have a map that's like, you know, the size that they had. It was just, yeah, it was just a really enjoyable game. The gameplay just wasn't that good, but it was just the quotes and all the fun times used to having it, you know, that's what's put it up there on my list. And number 5, it's going to be a very popular game, which I know a lot of you are going to know. It's Call of Duty World at War. It was released in November 2008, and I've played near enough every Call of Duty. I mean, I don't really buy the recent ones now because I just don't think, you know, the companies that make them are going in the right direction. I really don't agree with all the buddy jumping and all the flying about. I just don't like any of that. But it's by far my favourite Call of Duty game by a long shot. I mean, if you just think about the guns they get, you know, the STG-44, the MP40, you know, just a lot of brilliant weapons in that game. I think that's what really defined it, you know, the old-fashioned weapons used in the First World War, you know, you could go back then and use them, and it was just, oh, it was really, really enjoyable. And I mean, even just having a bayonet on the end of the weapon, I mean, I remember when I unlocked that as a weapon attachment, it was just like running around and stabbing people with a bayonet. Oh, it was so fun. And that's when Call of Duty World at War is when I first started making YouTube videos. It's definitely not going to be on this account, it's on a different account, which is not being disclosed in this video because they are so embarrassing. But I just loved that game so much, and I made so many stupid videos about it. It was just, oh, what was I doing? But I think the main aspect for me, I mean, apart from the amazing multiplayer and just like really gritty, action-packed gameplay, was definitely when Zombies was first introduced. I used to spend hours upon hours trying to get past round 30 on that. I don't think I ever did it because I wasn't really very good at Call of Duty. Still, I'm probably worse now actually. But yeah, I used to get in like 4-man lobbies and just try and play Zombies all night and just try and get past round 30. It was just such like really enjoyable times. And moving on to number 4, it's going to be Star Wars Battlefront 2. It was released on October 31st, 2005, and I used to play it on the PS2. I can just remember all the amazing battles you could have on that game. You know, it was just, it seemed so huge. It seemed like hundreds of people were playing the game at the time. It was just unbelievable. Like, looking around, you could just take a few seconds and just look at the battlefield, and it was just full of people, you know, mowing each other down with like lasers, and oh, it was unbelievable. I remember the main aspect being the space battles you could have in the game. I really enjoyed that, you know, going out in space and like making your way into their spaceship and stuff like that, and taking out all the people in there and trying to capture everything. It was just insane if you think about it now. And that's one of the main regrets I had about the new game, the new Star Wars Battlefront. I bought that with such high hopes. I mean, it is a fantastic game, a bit repetitive. I've got it on my Xbox One now. But the fact that they didn't involve, you know, battles in space, I really regretted that. I thought they really missed a trick there, because for me that was my favourite bit about Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I think that's what really defined it from the rest of the massive multiplayer shooters that they had at that time. And coming in at number 3 is FIFA 12. It was released on September 2011, and a few people who know me like outside of YouTube will know I'm a massive FIFA fan. I mean, I can't stop playing it. I play it every day. I must have played it every day of my entire life. I mean, I can't get enough of it. I'm in Division 1, you know, I play it all the time. I'm really addicted to it. But for me, FIFA 12 was definitely the best FIFA in my opinion. I mean, the gameplay wasn't amazing, the graphics definitely weren't amazing, but it was so fun, it was so arcadey, and it weren't realistic, it was just fun to play. And I mean, I remember just playing with my friends hours upon hours of just trying to pace abuse with Gabriella Bonlahor and Darren Bent up front. I mean, if you played FIFA now with that sort of tactic where you're just trying to pace abuse constantly, I mean, the community would just rip into shreds. But back then it was just so open and everyone was so accepting that it just made for a brilliant game. And I mean, Ultimate Team was first introduced, and I mean, that has just defined the genre now. No one on FIFA doesn't play Ultimate Team. It's just it is the best game mode in the game. I mean, I love career mode, I love pro clubs. I think they should definitely do something try and get to do something with that in FIFA 17, because I think that could be the best game mode. But Ultimate Team is definitely the best game mode at the moment, and when it was first introduced, everyone was addicted to it, and for good reason as well. And at number 2, it's Uncharted Drake's Fortune. It was released on November 19, 2007, which is coincidentally my brother and sister's birthday, and it was the first Uncharted game that's been released. I played it on the PS3, which I don't actually own anymore. It was my dad's PS3, but I can just remember having unbelievable graphics for its time, and just an absolute engaging, just unbelievable storyline as well. There's not a character in gaming that I love more than Nathan Drake. I've never engaged more with a character more than Nathan Drake. He's just like such a lovable guy, and I mean, I think we all see a bit of ourselves in him. You know, he's like adventurous, like personality and wanting to do what he wants to do. You know, I think I related to him a lot in that sense, and I think that's why this game's so high up on the list. Me and my dad are a really big fan of this series. You know, we've played every single Uncharted. I'm just on Uncharted 4 now. My dad's completed it within like 2 weeks. I mean, he's not a gamer, but he absolutely adores Uncharted. I remember when like in the build up to it coming out, you know, the trailers and the gameplay previews and stuff like that. That's all we talk about when there's a new Uncharted game coming out. So yeah, me and my dad are definitely big fans of the series, and for me, the first one was the best. I mean, everyone always says that, don't they? Oh, the originals are always the best, but and in a lot of ways, I don't agree with that. You know, with Mafia 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, I've played Mafia the first Mafia. I've played the first Star Wars Battlefront, but I think the sequels to those games were better. But with Uncharted, the first one is the best. When you first introduce to Nathan Drake, not Nathan Blake. When you first introduce to Nathan Drake, I think that's when you think, wow, this is a character. And then when you find out his background, his history, and the adventures he goes on, it's just unbelievable. And at number 1, it's The Last of Us. And before we get into our number 1 pick for this list, here are a few honourable mentions. Fallout 3, Tarzan on the PS1, yep, I said Tarzan. Lara Croft Tomb Raider on the PS2, PES 2006, Football Manager 2015, and GTA 4. And now, the one you've all been waiting for, it's number 1 on my top 10 favourite games of all time. And what other game could it be than The Last of Us? Released in July 2014, this was the most stunning, unbelievable game I've ever played in my entire life. It was literally, it's a game, and it was an absolute emotional roller coaster. For me, graphics don't mean a lot, but when you start that game, you see all the cutscenes, you see all the scenery, you see the characters, you think, oh my god, it looks like a film. I mean, a lot of games like that are like this now, we're in 2016, but when I saw that, it was just, my mind was absolutely blown. The storyline was definitely the best aspect for me. I mean, like I said before, it's just an emotional rollercoaster. Like, you're absolutely all over the show playing that game. You don't know whether it's happy or sad, just not knowing what's going to happen next. I think when a game creates that sort of atmosphere, that sort of connection with its players, I think that's a very rare occurrence these days. And it's a credit to Naughty Dog, because they've created so many games. I mean, number 2 on my list, Uncharted, that was created by Naughty Dog. They really have created some amazing games with amazing storylines. Joel and Ellie in that game. I mean, I said about Nathan Drake being, I have to admit he is my favourite character in any game, but them two, they had such a strong bond, and you really did feel a connection to them, and you really did want it to work out for both of them. And the ending to that game was absolutely unbelievable. Like, it was just crazy, the things that happened at the end of that game. Obviously, I'm not going to say because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. If you haven't played it, definitely go and play it. It's the best game I've ever played. Ending to that storyline was just, I couldn't believe what was going on. I'm a huge fan of zombie survival games, but I don't think anything has or ever will come close to that game. It was just mind-blowing how good it was. And that's it, that's the end of the video. That was my top 10 favourite games of all time. This video did take a lot of time to research, you know, it did take a lot of thought process to try and make a top 10, because I've played so many amazing games over my long career of playing games. So if you could smash a like on this video, that would be absolutely fantastic. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.